2 minutes 10.682 his qualifying time, alongside the reigning Academy champion Paul Oglesby. See how he goes. He's skipped road sports, gone straight into 270R. Second row is number 88 Adam Keane. He could be a favourite here. Has had a couple of wins already in another Caterham series this year, starting alongside the 15 of Nick Sampson. And they go out, will be underway for 20 minutes of racing for the Edge Caterham 270R Championship. They're underway and down towards that first corner they go. Who's going to get the whole shot into riches? It is Oglesby from the outside of the front row. One car almost on the grass there, further out wide, but it's Oglesby who has held the leads, and dust being kicked up on the inside as well as the 30-strong field funnels its way through. Somehow they've all got through there. Oglesby leads. It's Wheatley in second place, of being challenged quite strongly around the outside. Everybody else trying to be fourth. I
think it was Adam Keane around the outside, wasn't it, in the dark green car, and he's certainly been a front runner in these Caterham since he joined the Academy a couple of years back. Wheel arch already gone missing, and that car up the inside of turn one, I was wincing. It's a loss of something. I think that's the fuel cap maybe not being put on that car. Lots of fuel tipping out the back of the rear of that. I'm not sure what car that was actually, but that's not ideal, and it's going to leave liquid all over the track, isn't it?
Yes, we'll pick up who that was in a moment. Then we've had a tangle down at
that's Tolmarsh, maybe.
Yeah, that's Henry Speaks was the other car involved there. I think it may have been Lionel Tolmarsh. There's a couple of cars spun off there, so whether that is on fluid from that car that was dropping in, we didn't see who it was. Ben Wheatley has taken the lead from Paul Oglesby. Yes, it's the 37 of Henry Speaks involved there. He's going to pull off to the side of the road. His race is over. Yeah,
he can see his radiator has been punctured, so he needs to get that engine turned off quick smart. Wonder who that car was then, was trailing that liquid. I wouldn't be surprised if it was liquid that sort of helped with that manoeuvre down at Agostini. Certainly it wouldn't have helped the situation, but Ben Wheatley does lead Oglesby, and then it's Keane down the inside chasing behind his these are locked up heavily there into it. That's the number 78, isn't it? Is it 78?
Nick Hyton.
Nick Hyton. So yes, another champion there. Looking, well, more contact as they come down. We've got a car spitting into that's the Hanif brother. He's gone in. Just is he going to break it, keep it out of the barriers? Not quite. His brother's not made it into this race, so Barry also now looking sorry for himself in the barriers.
Yes, Barry Hanif from Glasgow taken out there. There's debris on the track as well. He's got it going again. So a fairly chaotic first lap for the 270Rs, sponsored by Edge. And yes, there's a car that's leaking. We still couldn't quite see the number.
I think that's the tyre rub now from where he made contact with Barry Hanif. So I think that's more likely a bit of the front wheel guard rubbing against that car. I can't see the car that was leaking fluid everywhere. A bit further back, but we can continue on in this race then. So it is Wheatley over Keane. Oglesby was third, Hyton, then Tolmarsh. So it wasn't Tolmarsh involved in that accident. We'll have to identify who that was. Then Hope, Sampson, Cavers and Sol Rogers up into ninth.
It was the 69 of Lewis Darling, I think, sadly, that hasn't come through on that first lap. So he was the car involved in the tangle at Agostini. Possibly Harrison Cavers is the car, the blue car there that was smoking a little. We'll have a look as it comes through here. There's the yes, you can see it there. It's only when he goes round left-handed corners, I think. So it's Harrison Cavers that he thinks dropping fluid. There's more bodywork goes flying. So that's the damaged car we were mentioning earlier. The 18 of Oglesby runs wide. There's fluid down at Agostini. You can see it.
Yeah, definitely. You can see that kind of line. And as you say, as he's going round left-handers, that's where the fuel filler cap's on the right-hand side. So it's either not seated itself properly or it's just not on that car. Wonder whether he's going to get the black and orange mechanical to pull him out back into the pits to get that solved. Obviously, it's not very good to have fuel spilling out of the cars, and it is a big fire risk, etc. And it's also putting fluid everywhere over the track. But the rest of this race continues, like I say, really been scrappy, and we've seen some sort of wheel guards flying, which we haven't really seen in too much in the opening couple of rounds. But Ben Wheatley is trying to shake those chasing cars and managing to do it. I said, can anyone hold on to him? Well, at the moment, no, they can't. Adam Keane's trying another wing gone in the background there, I could see as well. Adam Keane over the top then, trying to hold on over Hyton, and does so. Oglesby drifting back to fourth place now.
I was talking to Caitlin Penny, the sim racing commentator, earlier on, and she was asking how many wings do you think we're going to lose today? Well, I think there's a great many gone just in the first lap and a half of this race. A lot of tri-winged cars, shall we say, at this stage so far, as Django Jones has a look up the inside there, attacking Lionel Tolmarsh. But Ben Wheatley has checked out at the front of the field as everybody else scraps behind him. Keane in second place, and everybody else line astern.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's still absolutely close racing outside of that first, leading over the group Keane going to come across the line just ahead this time, but only just over Heighton, who's like I say, ahead of Oglesby. Now we're going side by side between Heighton and Keane. They've been having battles throughout their racing career, and it's good to see them continuing on. Oglesby now got the inside line, should have the up the inside as they go into Wilson this time through then. In fact, he does. Another lock up though. He's locked up his rears. He's not going to get that stopped. He's going to lose a couple of places while he gets it all back together. Will be able to catch back up with them very shortly. But yeah, sort of, it's a bit scrappy, isn't it, this 270R race?
Paul Oglesby was heading for the A11 there, I think, and heading towards Thetford. He's gathered it up again, though. He's lost a couple more places behind the number 15 of Nick Sampson. So Wheatley ahead of Keane and Heighton was the order at the line that time through. Now in fourth place, I think it is Lionel Tolmarsh who's in there in the 22. Yes, there he is ahead of Sampson. So yes, he's in P4. Oglesby is down to 6th position. Cavers is next in the order, despite that what looks like a fuel leak. And well, a pretty mayhem-filled race so far. Ben Wheatley seeming to be keeping his head while all around him, has to be said, seem to be losing that.
Yeah, absolutely. But Tolmarsh really making good on everyone else having those dramas. He's kept his nose clean and is quickly come into this top group. Finds himself in that 5th place and with a little bit of a comfort gap back to Sampson behind him. So Ben Wheatley though has got that extra speed, and he's not got a compatriot to go with him this year. So Ben just going to have looking like he's just got to hold on to this towards the end. Tolmarsh making another couple of places. Is that up into 4th place now? So he is making good progress as the battles continue then into this complex. As we're watching the number 3 car there.
That's Bruno van Dijk. Now he's come through from the back row of the grid. I think he's up to P12 in all the organised chaos we've seen so far. Just getting past, no, he might be into the top 10 now, but he's just got past Harvey Ashmore in the number 10. So I think Van Dijk will be in the top 10 as they come over the line.
Super quick driver, and like we said, only made the decision last night when his mum said that she'd pay for his race fee to come and enter. And yes, good to see him there. Sol Rogers though loses the rear. He's out onto the grass. He's going to lose out momentum. Probably going to lose 3 or 4 places by the time they get up to the turn 1. But yes, good to see Van Dijk carving his way through the field. Can he make it to the front group?
Fastest lap for our race leader, 2:11.801 for Ben Wheatley. He's over 3 seconds clear now of Adam Keane in 2nd place. Tolmarsh is up into 3rd, or at least he was at the line. It might all change as we get up to the hairpin. That's Heighton up into 2nd place. Now he was 4th. It's changing every corner, that battle for 2nd place. Here we are further back in the midfield. That's Dan Hope in the number 9 car. Somewhere in all this is Bruno van Dijk. Now where was he as he crossed the line? He was P8. He's gained 5 places on that last lap alone. That's phenomenal.
Watch out, play that Jaws music. Van Dijk is coming, isn't he? He's charging on down there. Charging down. But that's Keane, I think, trying to get down the inside of Heighton, get squeezed onto the gravel, so that's not going to help. It's actually, well, it is grass, isn't it? But it's the dust gets kicked up so quickly as such as the dry nature. There is the 2 DPR cars running side by side of Van Dijk, I think, in the number 10. So that's all Harvey Ashmore as well. So as they head up through Hamilton this time through, and it's Keane now breaking through over Heighton. There's Dan Hope, and behind them following along.
12 minutes still of this race to go. We're not even halfway through this rather chaotic race for the Caterham 270Rs, but things seem to have calmed down a little now. There is Django Jones being chased by the number 21 of Alex Coombs, the former academy man. They're back just outside the top 10, 4 wide into Brundle under the bridge there. This is never going to work. Up the inside, Nick Sampson gets that big squeeze from Lionel Tolmarsh. Also in there is Adam Keane, and Keane has just about held that what I think is 2nd place. Yes, there's Nick Heighton in behind them. I thought he may have escaped in front of them. Escaping is Ben Wheatley. He's probably wondering where everyone else has got to.
I think he's giggling as he looks into his mirror each lap he comes through, but a little bit of wheel bashing there between Tolmarsh and Heighton. There was I think it was Sampson as well, wasn't it? So they really are trying to start to push the envelope as they come to the halfway point. We're not even at halfway point yet. Sol Rogers did lose all of those places, so he's got it all to do again. I think he came across in 12th. He might even be a little bit further back than that, but it is absolutely nose to tail outside of that leading car of Ben Wheatley. We're going nose to Adam Keane looking down the inside. Can he make it go through? Tolmarsh finds himself at the outside of the track, but in 2nd place temporarily. He's going to go down to 4th place, I think, by the time we get out of the hairpin this time through. There goes Ben Wheatley in the other side of the track, resplendent going forward. The rest of them all coming out to the hairpin, all still side by side, still squabbling over every centimetre of track.
Just over 1 1/4 seconds, covering 6 cars in that fight for second place at the moment as we come up towards half distance in this Edge Caterham Motorsport 270R Championship race. Down towards Agostini comes the second place battle. They start to fan out. This is what we normally see on the Bentley straight, not the run into Agostini. Now, who's got second place? It is Adam Keane, just holding Nick Sampson in the number 15, who's come through into P3, the red and white car, as they dodge out to try and break the toe. Tolmash is next in the order. No, he's not, because who's that coming through on the inside? It's Nick Heighton in the 79.
Must have missed a gear for that to happen. That's why he had to jink out so violently, because there's no way you'd lose that momentum coming out of Agostini.
Paul Oglesby next, and then it's Harrison Cavers, who seems to have recovered from those earlier problems now, and the car able to keep going. There is Barry Hanif. He's still going after spinning off at the exit of Nelson earlier on. Now, where is he in the orders? Looking down the tiny screen towards the back of the field in this one. So just the one retirement despite all this chaos, and that's Henry Speaks.
Okay, yeah, and yeah, so he punctured his car against Lewis Darling. That's Oglesby down the inside, locked up. Can he hold it all together? Yes, he can. Tolmash somehow surviving. They were ever so close. They were almost wheels into lock there. There's really not much room going through that left-hander, and the cars are absolutely on the raggedy edge of grip. It's just absolutely rapid down there as you're trying to get it turned and slowed all at once from that epically fast car. There's Wheatley disappearing off up the road, and Sampson just finding himself up into that second place then. So great for him. Tolmash losing out in the middle phase of this as he went through those squabbles through the complex that time through. And yeah, Heighton and Oglesby also obviously losing out from the start of this race as well. They'll be seeing whether they could do anything about getting back on board.
There's a battle further down the order, and this starts Brian Joyce giving chase in the number 73 car, the man from Kent, as the battle for second place continues to intensify, heading out of Riches up towards the Wilson's hairpin. Paul Oglesby is there on the inside of the green number 18 car. They're now fighting for fourth place, I think, these four, which has dropped them slightly behind the battle for second. Tolmash in there. Oh, and slowing, that's Nick Sampson. What's happened there? He's suddenly slowed coming down the straight there. We didn't see what happened to him.
No, it didn't look like he had anyone to battle with, so I'm not sure whether again he's having gear selection issues there. But Oglesby now pulling to the inside then. Keane's got a little bit of a comfort gap in that second place. Oglesby takes third place. Tolmash around the outside of Sampson, but he's not going to give it up. More wings go flying. Tolmash has lost another wheel arch. They really are pulling.
Nice header by Nick Heighton there.
They've covered the sideways there by the Tolmash car. I think in fact Oglesby even more sideways. I wonder whether there's still fluid going down on the track.
There must be.
They really are struggling to keep fully in contact with the tarmac, and I can assure you that they wouldn't normally be so raggedy. But there you go, they're still heading off round. Tolmash another bit lighter. Hopefully he's got enough fuel in that car to make sure he's over the minimum weight limit when he comes into scrutineering.
We haven't seen much of our race leader Ben Wheatley. There he goes under the bridge and through into Brundle. Everybody else is fighting to be second. I think Adam Keane possibly has escaped slightly now. Sampson's still there in third. Then I think that's Tolmash next. Then Oglesby, Heighton, Cavers in behind them in the number 51. There's bits of wing littering most of the Snetterton circuit. Plenty of souvenirs for our marshals.
Yeah, and I guess thank you to the stewards as well for letting it all to continue, because they're slightly off the racing line and therefore not affecting it. It's sometimes they do like to sort of get the marshals to clear it all away. I don't think they've had too much opportunity to do that, but the racing has continued and it has been fast and frantic. So we watched this battle of the number 31 there of Bailey, and I think it was Hind he was battling with. I wonder where Monty Hind's a little bit further back than you might expect to see him. He's been up towards the front on occasion, but the rest of the field all flow through them. Wheatley off and up the road. Keane still in that second place. Sampson, Tolmash, Oglesby, Heighton, Cavers, and Van Dyke up into 8th place. He's got a bit of a gap to get across now though to get involved, I think.
Lionel Tolmash and Adam Keane have both been shown the black and white flag for exceeding track limits, so they receive the final warning. So they battle their way up towards Wilson's hairpin once again. This is scrap a little bit further down. You'll Randy Bailey there on the inside in the red number 31 car, making his way through on the 23. That's Gary Cross.
Is that Van Dyke car there? That is the Van Dyke car, so he has caught up with this group in quick order. He is now firmly in this battle that we've seen. This is going to be sending the cat amongst the pigeons, and the pigeons are already relatively disturbed from the fact they've been scaring each other to bits, haven't they, and ripping wings off each other, literally. But Van Dyke is at the rear of that field now, looking to see whether he can get over the top of Tolmash. I think he's done that already, so he is now going to be moving up to see whether he can make it anywhere higher into this top 10.
Well, we've got 5.5 minutes of this hugely entertaining race to go. And Bruno van Dijk is still on the move from the back of the field. There's still Ben Wheatley who leads from Adam Keane, and everybody else battling for third place. Harrison Cavers closing up on Oglesby. So they go down the Bentley straight. Van Dijk monstering up behind them, and somebody's off. That's the number 2 car. That's Graham Handing.
The Ironman car sort of lost it. Looks like maybe all by himself. Or again, more fuel down maybe.
Somebody else went wide there.
Exactly,
as well.
That's what I mean. There's a lot of cars jinking and jiving. Oh no, he was helped. He was nudged, shall we say? He was already losing the rear of that car, but then got helped. There's Sol Rogers on his trying to recover back through some of the cars and avoiding all this debris as they head around. Then 4 minutes 40 seconds left of this race. Even a bit further back, there's still no let up, is there? That's Cross there, and he's in 17th place, and there's still absolutely nose to tail. Ben Wheatley goes past and over that start finish rate. He's got over an 8-second lead. Look at the gap that he's managed to pull over the rest of this field. Have been squabbling. Keane's lost out. His gap that was there has lost it. Tolmarsh has got the speed in his car. Sampson, Heighton, Oglesby, Cavers. Then comes Van Dijk in 8th place. He was ahead of Harvey Ashmore. That's who we saw him battling with. In fact, he's still battling there. He's lost a position to Harvey Ashmore. He recovers back through, and as they head down into Wilson then.
This is a battle for second place. Lionel Tolmarsh is up into P2 then as they swing their way through. In P4 is Nick Heighton, then Sampson and Oglesby. Just exploring the limits. Oglesby moves up the Caterham ladder this year.
Nothing between them. There's absolutely millimetres between the Sampson's front nose cone and the rear panel of Tolmarsh there. They head down. So Keane's lost that. Tolmarsh, in fact, it's Tolmarsh in second place, isn't it? They go side by side. Oh, there's a little bit of late manoeuvring then in the braking zone. That was a desperation kind of protection there from Heighton. He really didn't want to let Sampson go through there at all. Van Dijk's back ahead of Harvey Ashmore again after they've gone down the back straight. And yeah, still absolutely nose to tail. Still absolutely anyone of this mid-pack could end up in second place all the way through to 8th.
It is all about second. Don't forget Ben Wheatley is still out in front of this race, leading by over 9 seconds now. That's an eternity in Caterham Motorsport terms, as Nick Heighton is being reeled in by the 15 of Nick Sampson. Now there is Ben Wheatley, our race leader. We've barely seen him all race long. He has simply put his head down and
he's just
his right foot and cleared off. He's
just 1/10 of a second away from getting the lap record all on his own, and that is no mean feat. So can he find that extra 1/10 of a second towards the end of this race and get himself a lap record, as well as this angry mob of cars comes through into the bomb hole this time. Oglesby there on the back of Heighton, seeing whether there's anything he can do. He's lost out a little bit in this race, but it's not for lack of trying, is it? But he's got Van Dijk now behind him, who I think is up into 7th and looking to see whether he can take 6th. This Coram, the everlasting right-hander, and then hauling on the anchors as best she can to get through Murray's and up onto the start-finish straight. Crucial today getting up to this start-finish straight. The wind is a tailwind as they go up here, but that's why we're seeing overtakes into Agostini, because they've got a headwind as they go down there. Side by side then between Keane and Tolmarsh, Sampson, Heighton, Oglesby, Dijk, as quick as you like, heading over the line this time through.
Onto the penultimate lap of this Edge Caterham 270R Championship race. Up towards Wilson's hairpin come the battlers for the minor placings. Lionel Tolmarsh and Adam Keane still fighting it out for second. Everybody else fighting it out for fourth. Was there a bit of contact there between Nick Heighton and Nick Sampson, which Oglesby separates them?
Heighton's locked his rear wheels and he just had a slide on all the way in there, so Oglesby made up that, but I think it was all by himself as he locked the rear wheels.
Into the closing stages we go then. They're not going to catch Ben Wheatley here, but they are determined to fight it out for second and third places as best they can. Who's this coming? Diving up the inside using the grass. That's Bruno van Dijk taking Nick Heighton. Heighton will get back through, I think, on the exit. They're still side by side. They're bleeding on each other. Wheel bang is like Ed Senna and Nigel Mansell in the early 90s in that Spanish Grand Prix there. Millimetres between the two of them. So Tolmarsh now back up into second place in his rather lightened car, as you mentioned earlier. Still the fight goes on further back.
Yeah, so Van Dijk didn't make that stick. He kind of knew that he had to keep it trying. Are we going to get this other lap in? It's going to be close as he gets to the line. Here's Wheatley coming down towards us. You can see the angry mob weaving behind. So that's Keane trying to shake the likes of Tolmarsh off his rear panel. But I think they're going to go side by side this time through. Then comes Sampson and then comes Oglesby. There's a little bit of a gap then down to this Bruno Van Dijk Heighton battle, which is side by side once more. Van Dijk goes around the outside and I think has made a couple of places up, so he is now into that 70s drift off and wide. Hopefully he's not going to track limits infringement, because that's going to add one more to his warning pile. But Heighton at the moment is just having to just defend for his life, but Van Dijk was like the unstoppable force coming through then.
So coming up towards the final lap then, Ben Wheatley has gone through. Here comes the second place fight out of Murray's. Just saw Ben Wheatley go through. Here's a fight further back in the order.
Yeah, that was Hanif sort of still fighting his way back through. Did look like the rear of his car might be slightly awry, so hopefully his rear wing's going to hold on. Here comes though Keane ahead of Tolmash as they go on to this last lap then. Sampson is only just in there clinging on for all he's worth, but he's actually going to make some little progress. You're going to see for the outside move. Keane heavily on the brakes down the inside is going to make that stick. Sorry, Tolmash down the inside makes that move up over Keane. And then it's Sampson and Oglesby. These look like they're going to be for the second and third place battle, don't they?
Certainly, yes. One of these four is going to take the runner-up place in there, 10 seconds down on Ben Wheatley. Then the next group is now headed up by Bruno Van Dijk ahead of Nick Heighton. What a charge through from the back of the grid for Bruno Van Dijk. 3 wide in the background. Who's this moving through on the inside?
It looks like Heighton may be losing. Oh no, it's not. It's the number 51 of Cavers, Harrison Cavers there, seeing what he can do. Bruno might well make it if he can just get to this group. He has a chance, but he really has to get his foot on round Oglesby. Round Oggies. Otherwise, he's not going to make it. Oh, there's a little bit of front to nose contact there. That was Sampson pushing Tolmash onto this back straight. That might give Van Dijk just the sniff of this toe. He's going to get it. Van Dijk is going to be part of this battle for the finish. That's going to make things exciting.
Oh, we almost saw bump drafting there. It's more like Legends cars than Caterham's for a moment there, as Ben Wheatley continues to set the pace. He's heading for victory here at Snetterton in the season opener for the 270R Championship. What's happening behind them, though, is what we are going to have a look at into Brundle. Keane up on the outside now, the inside of Sampson. Tolmash is in behind them on the inside. Then Oglesby. Van Dijk is in there somewhere. Is that him coming through? Yes, he's in fourth in this group, 5th overall now. Running wide is Sampson. They're going to be 3 wide into Coram. You don't see that too often. Up on the grass on the inside is Tolmash. Oh my goodness, Sampson's gone wide onto the grass.
Contact between Sampson and McKean, I think, and Sampson spun it at the back there. That's going to bring Van Dijk up into 4th place, I think.
Ben Wheatley takes the checkered flag. He takes the win, unaware of all the drama unfolding behind him. Who is going to be second? We may have to go to the timing screen on this one as they charge over the line. It's going to be a photo finish between Keane and Tolmash, and it goes to Adam Keane by 1,000th of a second.